Welcome to a game show edition of RGN where we shine the spotlight on another 2024 Commodore Amiga release, Cecconoid, developed by Hoffman. Cecconoid is a flick-screen twin-stick shooter that draws heavy inspiration from classic titles such as Robotron and Cecconoid. The backstory to the game is that the starship Equinox is under attack from Stormlord and his robotic minions. You are the crew's only hope, so you jump on board your Samurai 1 fighter as you navigate the corridors of the Equinox, clearing the decks of evil robots as you look for Captain Solomon's key. Cecconoid is stylishly presented in a 3-colour tone palette, with the game world mainly presented in black and white, with subtle use of red to accentuate certain parts of the moving game world. Adding to the overall visual presence is a very good implementation of a particle engine, which is primarily used to depict destruction debris and the jet stream given off by a craft. This effect really goes a long way to depict a living and interactive game environment. Making your way through the game's 50+ screens will be far from easy. The difficulty curve is set at a high level as it contains a large myriad of enemies and hazards to deal with. Within the corridors of the Equinox are many power-ups that are a necessity for you to collect to achieve your objective. When your ship is destroyed, which results in the loss of one of your lives, any power-ups previously collected will scatter and eventually disappear, so it's really important to collect them as soon as possible to restore your arsenal. Cecconoid is also a high-score chaser style of game. Destroying certain enemies or background objects will either release a collectible star that increases your score multiplier or 100 bonus points. But perhaps the biggest challenge that you will have with Cecconoid is not its difficulty in gameplay, but rather the difficulty in getting controls set up in a way that will successfully mimic the twin-stick shooter experience. If you don't have a CD32 controller, then finding an alternative that works for you might be challenging. I didn't feel comfortable using 2 joysticks as they would not remain stable on my desk, and using a combination involving a mouse just didn't feel natural for me. I was mostly comfortable using a Logitech game controller while emulating a game on my Mac computer, where I was able to map shooting directions to my controller buttons, which I guess provides an experience that is close to playing with a CD32 controller. Setting the controller configuration aside, Cecconoid proved itself to be a somewhat addictive gaming experience. The Amiga conversion has been executed at a high level, and I really enjoyed the inclusion of 30 different achievements that can be collected, providing some form of replayability even when you've completed the game. Adding further value to the package is the inclusion of a bonus game called Yugatron, a 60-level twin-stick arena-based shooter that really is Robotron in style. But perhaps the biggest standout with the Amiga version of Cecconoid is the in-game music that provides a very pleasing space psychedelic soundtrack that creates a well-balanced ambience for the action taking place on screen. If old school arcade shooting action is your type of thing, then Cecconoid is likely to be right up your alley. The Amiga version of Cecconoid is available to purchase in both digital and physical editions and is being distributed by Thalamus Digital.